carriage house to the Angelo house. It would have been used as servants' quarters upstairs. Later it became the garage, and Juliet parked her car right there.
In that little room over there?
Well, I mean,
Or just right
it was just in
Yeah.
the area.
Yeah, but it was right there.
Yes,
Wow.
But Juliet was a really, really bad driver. If you haven't heard,
I have heard.
she tends to, like, they'd have to block off just squares and squares for her just to back out of the garage. And one day she was driving around one of the squares, and this family was having dinner in their house, and she just drove straight to their dining room. She slowly backed out, came home, called her friend that was a lawyer, and she's like, "What do I do?" And he goes, "What did you do when you did that?" She goes, "I just came home." "What did you say to them?" "Nothing." "Well, why didn't you say?" "I didn't want to interrupt their dinner."
Oh, no.
So that's Juliet driving.
What's a great Juliet story?
And yes, I've heard that you know a lot about the history anyways. So I'm going to tell you about this picture right here in the middle.
I love that picture.
It's a picture from the first Girl Scout handbook. And the boy in the picture used to like to follow his next door neighbor because he wanted to be a Girl Scout more than he wanted to be a Boy Scout. So he'd follow her every day when she put her uniform on. And when they were taking the pictures, he followed her, and the photographer said, "Oh, well, let's just use him in our pictures." And so they put the boy and his bicycle in the pictures. And 3 or 4 years ago, they found out that the little boy was Johnny Mercer.
No, was it really?
Wow.
The second lady from the right was Miss Mildred Nix Huey. She was in one of the early Girl Scout troops, and her next door neighbor was Johnny Mercer, and we had the privilege of meeting her daughter, Miss Mildred Huey Wilcox, a few years ago. I actually met her before I started working with the Girl Scouts and sent the then historian to go and interview her. I said, "Well, her mother was one of the first Girl Scouts," which of course you hear all the time. And she brought out all of these fabulous documents and showed the young lady at the time, and she brought out this picture, and she was looking at the picture, flipped it over on the back, and Mrs. Nix Huey had written the entire story on the back of this picture and detailed that her next door neighbor was Johnny Mercer, and that's him in the picture.
Oh, boy, wasn't it wonderful that she did that?
Exactly. She's a perfect example when we teach the girls about archiving of why you always label your pictures and photographs.
So these are, of course, the uniforms. And
Which one would you most want to wear?
well, we had a fashion show, and I got to pick which one I wanted to wear, and I wore Mirror for it.
Oh! They are. They're
cutest.
That's right. They
No.
are. It is the cutest. It has the most interesting look to it, and the color is not quite so.
It's not like green or.
Yeah.
And so keep going, and this is a table from what is the SS Juliet, and you can hold this picture and look at it. What had happened was they decided to name a ship named after Juliet Gordon Low because she had such an impact on our country. And after it sailed for 3 decades, it was one of the ships that lasted for a really long time. It was a very lucky ship. It had little, but it never really got destroyed. But when they decided to take it apart, they took all the hatches and they made them into tables and passed them out to all of the Girl Scout councils in the country. And this is our original table.
Oh my gosh! Wow. I wonder how many tables were in.
Well, enough to fill
Well,
the
how many
councils
are
at the
left?
time.
There
not
would have been like.
There were only a limited number of tables made at the time because of obviously the limited number of hatch covers on the table. This particular table was actually commissioned by the captain and sent back to Daisy Gordon Lawrence. They had actually corresponded quite a bit through the war, and so the captain saw that Mrs. Lawrence received this table. The table in the corner, which all of the Juliet Low tables have a small brass plaque in the corner that actually say SS Juliet Low and the date of the launching. But the one in the corner we actually bought off of eBay.
Like recently?
In the last few years, yes ma'am.
Since I've been here, 'cause I get an email from Jan at 1 o'clock in the morning saying, "Jackie, can I buy this boat?"
How much much did it cost?
Yeah, what did you pay for it?
I don't recall what they
I'm
paid
sure
for
it was very reasonably priced and it stayed within our council budget.
Well, I don't care about that.
Actually, I
I'm
believe
curious
she
about-
she took subscriptions from some very
I mean, it
very
should've
lovely
been a lot.
I
volunteers.
think about $300, something like
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I think it was
See,
a,
it should have been
tad more than
Was
that.
it a
thousands of
tad
dollars.
more? Well,
Should have
that's
I
what
think it was
$1,000.
more to the tune of $700 to $1,000.
At
Well,
least.
Jan
Yeah,
paid
it should have
for it,
been.
Donated
Yes.
some money to
Yeah.
purchase.
Jan
it.
did, and
It's-
David Greenawalt from one of the tour companies did.
Mhm.
Several other people
Right.
very generously
We
donated.
got the Jan on the fundraiser.
You guys did good if you got it for like under $1,000.
Yeah.
And if y'all wanna donate that to headquarters, I've got a place for it.
Lynn loves history. He is like, he is,
We're in the
yeah.
mecca then.
I will put it
Yeah.
in a very prominent place.
Yeah, he's really,
And say that you donated it.
That
He's
one is
making-
actually it's a smaller table. It's more of a coffee table than it is a larger table. The stand is
oh
actually
yeah, I'm
upstairs.
sure you got design ideas on that. He's taken I had a very drab 17th floor office, and especially when you come off the elevator and go into the executive offices, it was pretty drab. You know, sort of innocuous paintings of flowers or something. And Lynn comes in his first week, he's just like, this place needs like a makeover big time. And he went into our archives and pulled out an old beautiful bust of Juliet, and we have a painting of the one from Lady of Savannah. We've got that up on the 17th floor, and the Girl Scout flag and American flag. And I mean, it's just, now you walk into my office area and it's got, you know, Juliet and Girl Scouts, and it's very dramatic.
I was gonna say,
She's
you know,
lit.
busted
The way it
song.
Yeah, exactly.